Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Nook podcast. I'm your host as ever, Purple Midnight 8, joined as ever by the Obsidian Nook. Why don't you say hello?
Hello.
Hello. We apologise in advance if you hear a bit of wind. We're not outside, it's British summertime, and it's fucking hot, and we already got rid of the aircon we used in the last episode because it fucked up. So yeah.
It leaked like nearly 15 litres of water on our floor.
Okay, 15 litres is a bit of an exaggeration. Like, it was leaking, but not that much. But apparently that was just part of it. And because someone lost the credit card, we can't replace it with something better, so the old fan is back out. She says nothing in embarrassment.
Oopsies.
Oopsies. Oopsies, I did a poopsies and dropped it on the floor. Anyway, so we are covering...
I don't know what I'm more disappointed about, not having the McDonald's or losing the card.
Yeah, basically. I mean, we lost the McDonald's because you lost the card, so the card is the cause of the world's problems. That makes sense. Anyway, so yeah, we're doing the first of the trilogy so far, I should say. We're doing 28 days later. If you didn't know, we already did 28 weeks later, and we will be doing 28 years later when that comes out this Friday, which is a couple of days away. God, YouTube is really begging you for money, aren't they? Anyway, so yeah, I believe, according to my schedule for uploaded videos, this will probably come out on release day of 28 years later. Because I've got something else in the slot tomorrow. We're recording this on the Wednesday, by the way. So yeah, you'll get this when Years comes out, and then Years will come out on the Sunday, probably. You say that like you're part of the channel and you have any idea what's going on?
I don't, but I just, the whole smile and wave thing. We just smile and wave.
Yeah, and we've covered that film as well. So yeah, we're covering 28 Days Later, the gritty original that...
I thought it didn't match up to the trailer you showed me.
Sure, but yeah, that's because it's a trailer.
But I felt like the trailer was really shit compared to the film.
Oh, so was the film better than the trailer then?
The film was better than the trailer.
Usually...
Sell it for me, because you showed me the trailer and it was so like fucking 2000s, and I was like, this is gonna be shit. So I kept like I was deliberately not reminding you because we had to pay $3.49 to rent it, because that was the only way.
But then you reminded me about it that we were going to do it.
I thought the film was gonna be shit. Oh no, that's just the trailer. They did the trailer badly.
Usually when people say that whatever you said about the trailer, I've already forgot to begin with.
The trailer shit.
No, you said that about the film was something compared to the trailer. I've already forgotten, so she...
Like the trailer was some different film.
Yeah.
To me.
Usually, people's biggest complaints when they say something about that is that the trailer is better than the film sometimes. Because they make it all dramatic and everything, and then it's just like... shit, basically. So yeah, this is the first one. This is old, and it shows how old it is. Mainly because Danny Boyle, the director, said he directed it on domestic video cameras, which is something I only learned recently. Like literally the mum camera, the mum video camera that they would get out and be like, "Is Dad? Is your nan?" It's like, yeah, I can see that. And then they tell it to you in person. They go, "There's your nan." Yeah, just repeating another person's joke. But yeah, this is very gritty. I think now that we've watched this one and 28 Weeks Later, I think I prefer this one. For the horror, this one. For the action, the next one, I think. Mainly because they don't show the infected as much as they do in the sequel. The infected is basically this... Is that for the most part, the infected are concealed in darkness if they're not being...
You mentioned about the mum camera filming. it does, because I noticed throughout the film that there was something off with and I specifically noticed it with Hannah's character. So whenever
She was very weird.
Hannah would talk, and then you watch the film, it felt like her talking and what you were seeing on screen didn't entirely match up 100%. Like, it was out by a few split seconds.
Her acting was a bit weird as well. But kid actor.
That was the only thing that bothered me about the film, just because it felt like her acting didn't match up the camera.
Yeah. It may have been like, they might have had to re-record the dialogue for whatever reason after the filming. I can't remember what you would call that. But anyway, usually I know this kind of shit, but post-production tomfoolery, I guess, is the way I put it. But yeah, because it's all done handheld with a mum camera, it's very much more of a gritty, like you're there sort of film, whereas the second one is very Hollywoody with its shots. Like, you've got big wide pan and shots of London from the helicopters. Like, everything is, it's just so action packed, whereas this is more, what's the word to use, reserved or conserved, I guess. It's more, there are lots of close-ups of people. Like, it's a very tight-knit sort of film where there's no big shots of, like, the second one. Good. Yes.
I really like the apron guy. The comedy in that was just.
Doris.
I couldn't take it seriously.
We'll talk about Doris later on when we get to that point. But yeah, this is the film that reinvented horror. This was the World War Z before World War Z, if you wish.
Yep. Introduced me to the Walking Dead zombies.
Yes, this is potentially one of the first films, I'm not going to say the first film, where zombies weren't, quote, zombies, because people get arsey about... Because technically they're not zombies, because they never die and come back to life. Which is true, because there are people who do just die and not turn.
But wasn't it...
They're infected.
Isn't the 28 franchise...
28 years. No. Oh, well... Kind of. The opening shot, like the opening sequence of him getting out from a coma with his full man ass and penis hanging out.
Was a lot of,
Cillian Murphy, like, there was nudity in this film and it's basically just his dick swinging around in the intro. But yeah, so the intro, I think, inspired The Walking Dead, or vice versa, I can't remember, of waking up in from a coma in a hospital, everything's abandoned, full apocalypse, but there are no infected for a large chunk of the start of the film. Like, it's mainly just him wandering around London, which I believe they had a very short amount of time where they could close off sections of London to get their shots in. And obviously there's the iconic shot of him on the London Bridge next to the Houses of Parliament. It's really good, it's really eerie. The second film had a bit of that, where they got out and they went around London, because all the infected are dead by that point. So yeah, it's really eerie. It's proper, like, horror apocalypse stuff. It's good shit. The second one is just way too Hollywoody for me now that I'm looking at it. Now that I'm looking back on it, I should say. 28 years should be interesting, because the second one establishes that they starved to death. There's a bit of that at the end. So how is it 28 years later that they're still infected around? And they said they're going to explain how, like, the virus has evolved to just basically keep them alive. Especially that infected that everyone was calling in Cillian Murphy, because he did look like him. But he's all, like, bony and, like, he's basically skin and bones, this infected.
I'm wondering if that's, like, as the years go on, people are able to research it and then find out more information about it, and then that's when they introduce, like, some sort of plot twist.
Plot twists aren't really part of these films. There's never been a plot twist, is there?
No.
There's never been like the big like
in
moment.
the second one we watched.
Mhm. Well, the first one we watched, but the second film, yeah.
No.
Oh, Scarlet, yeah.
She's. I can't remember. But she was something along the lines of, we don't know that yet. So it was like.
They don't fully understand the virus because when they realise that the people who have heterochromia, the multicoloured eyes, they're not immune, but they become carriers. I wonder if somehow that, like I said with that review, maybe we could have like the 28 year
Because that weren't mentioned in the first one, which made me think that they then.
The first one is within a month of the apocalypse starting. Yeah. It'd be curious. I hope they sort of go into a bit of details on the world outside of England, because it's like they established that Britain has been quarantined because the Americans come in because the Americans are the world police. They come in and they try and help. That fucks up. But then, of course, at the end of weeks, it shows that Paris has also gone. But 28 years, it'd be good to see how the world is going on. But Days is very much. There's obviously the planes going around, so it's clear that Britain has been cordoned off. Because he sees planes going up, like passenger planes, not just jets. But it'd be good to see what, maybe a bit, not all of the world. I know they're planning on sequels, like of what's going on. Because how are the infected still going, obviously, but it'd be interesting to see what they do. But this one is very early on, no one knows what the hell's going on. There's just these very fast people that are just killing, not even killing each other, infecting each other, I suppose. But yeah, for most of this film, it's pretty quiet. There's the odd infected attack. They meet up with Mad-Eye Moody from Harry Potter and his daughter Hannah, as you said, who is Irish in real life, but they made him English in this film, but Cillian Murphy was still allowed to keep his accent. So I don't get that. I didn't get. Me and your stepdad were talking about that. It's like, why did they make Cillian Murphy still be Irish, but not Brendan Gleeson? It's weird. But yeah, so for the most part, it's fine. They hear, like, it's your run-of-the-mill zombie stuff, and then they hear the military, which starts off as a, let's go there. They find out they're all gone.
Yeah. It's a bit late now that you watched it, but a bit of like, I think there was a bit of like light and strobe light and whatnot.
That's there's a storm near the end.
Check for you. So there was like attempted.
There was attempted well, as Doctor Who, Christopher Eccleston said.
That's the only thing that made me feel really uncomfortable.
May I add, there is no actual rape or anything of that. There's not even like groping. There's one infected that's naked and a woman, but there's no female nudity. There's no like literally jumping on. The soldiers are creeps, but they don't go as far in the film. Probably would have done if it wasn't for the events of the film. They would have done SA, but the soldiers are all creeps and they get their comeuppance anyway. But where was I going with this? So yeah, as Doctor Who, Christopher Eccleston says, he promised the men women, and because of that, they all try to escape, and it goes wrong. And one of the soldiers, who was a good guy, ends up trying to rescue them, help them escape. But he dies anyway. They try to kill Jim, which is Cillian Murphy. He gets away, and then he just unleashes hell on the soldiers. He frees their why they keep one chained up to observe it. Stupid idea, considering what they're capable of, and considering he basically causes everyone to die. Basically, all the soldiers get wiped out, including Doris, who's a man, by the way, but he's just like the FNG, the fucking new guy. He's like the one that everyone picks on. I think Jim gets him. Jim stabs him with a bayonet in the end. But yeah, so all of them die, including Henry West, which is Christopher Eccleston. in this brilliant scene where inside this big, like, elaborate mansion, like, the infected just keep adding to their numbers because they're just infecting more and more of the soldiers. So it is brutal just watching people just get all this, like, vomit blood on their faces. For the most part, a lot of them bite and usual infected stuff. But yeah, it's good stuff. It basically goes back to the old thing of like The Walking Dead did it as well, where it's like zombies aren't the biggest threat, people are. So yeah, but Henry West wasn't just a guy who was necessarily evil. He was just like, he cared for his men, because when he corners them in the back of the taxi, he literally says, like, you killed my boys. And he comforts Doris as he, like, bleeds out from his bayonet wound. And then they go off. Well, obviously Henry West dies as well from the chained up zombie that Jim freed. But they go off in the cab and they possibly get rescued. We'll have to wait till the 28 years later sequel comes out at some point. But yeah, that's your basic plot breakdown, I would say. I still remember a lot. There's lots of, as you say, lightning, lots of infected that are basically like, well, not even lots of infected. The infected you barely see until right at the end where all the soldiers become infected. That's probably a budget thing, to be fair. But yeah, it's good stuff. This is the good horror. This was more horror than the sequel, even though the sequel had its moments. But I think I do prefer this one to the second one. I used to think the other... Like, if you want horror, this one. Action, the next one. Years we haven't seen yet, because it's not out yet. But, yeah. What do you think? What do you prefer?
I didn't hate this one, but I'm gonna say I prefer that.
That's fair enough. It's fair enough.
Just because it was the one who played Doctor Who.
It's the only one you recognised. Where's Brendan Gleeson, Harry Potter? We literally saw him in fucking Ballad of Buster Scruggs for 5 minutes. We've got Cillian Murphy, who's just everyone. He's like The Rock. No, he's not. The Rock is worse. But yeah, I do enjoy this film. It'd be good to see what they do with the third one to make it worth watching that we haven't seen already. But yeah, anything else you want to add?
No.
No? Do you want to actually say anything about the film?
No, I said all I can.
All you can, which isn't a lot. But yeah, that is a look. Anyway, so yeah, that's about it. I think that's about as much as we can say. Yeah, it's hot, we're sticking. Good luck trying to watch this, if you ain't watching it digitally, because, good god, the DVD copies were expensive. Weeks, I believe we didn't have to pay for. I think that was just on Amazon. But yeah, I don't know why they skipped months. I don't know why they didn't do 28 months later. Shut up, I'll finish and then I'll get up. But yeah, thank you ever so much for listening. We have been Sticky. We will see you. We will see you next time. Oh god, that's awful. We will see you next time for 28 years later. Bye bye.